Alright, got the induction system here for the RV 454. Believe I done figured it out. Just scored this Barry Grant 1050 Dominator. It's the mid-90s version. Damn good carburetor. Angular discharge. 1050 CFM. Came off a drag car, so it's not got a whole lot of use on it. It's a 3-circuit, so you wouldn't want to go far with this fucking pig. Put away some fuel. It's got an idle circuit, it's got the high-speed circuit, and then it's got an intermediate circuit. So it's dumping fuel all the fucking time. This one's already been modified though. I drilled out the idle air feeds and shit. They've been opened up. I might have to open that intermediate up a little bit. Take some fuel out. It's 88 jets with 4.5 power valves, front and rear. It's a 1995 Barry Grant Dominator. Got a pretty good deal on it. I'd like to get it a little cheaper, but these fucking things are relatively expensive, even for a cheap one. But it's got some nice action on it. Which it just came off a running drag car. They switched over to a flying toilet. Mechanical fuel injection. So I scored the Dominator, which I have several Dominators, but they're all fucking 1150s, and I got a 1275. I want to put a 1050 on this 454. Just seems like a whole lot of fucking carburetor, and it is. But on a big block, you compare it to like a small block, an 850 double pumper on a 454 is about like a 650 double pumper on a 350. So you start stepping up with a big block, you're gonna have to get you a big old honking fucking carburetor. These things, they make power. I could put a 1050 CFM 4150 carb on here, and this Dominator would make 10-15 more horsepower. Just the way the fucking barrels are laid out. People think it's the CFM, but it's really just the way they fucking meter the fuel. It's the way the barrels are laid out. A lot of factors involved. And those CFM ratings are really just fucking theoretical. There's a lot of factors at play that can affect that shit too. I remember seeing a 502 big block Chevy on a dyno. It was a pretty rowdy 502. It had a 750 Dominator on it at first. And I think it made about 685 horsepower, approximate 688, something like that, with the 750 Dominator. And the CFM that actually pulled through the 750 Dominator was like 970 something CFM is what was pulled through that 750 Dominator. And then the 750 Dominator was swapped out for a 1050 Dominator, and I think it pulled like fucking 1,020 something CFM through it, but it picked up like 25 plus horsepower damn near everywhere. So it ain't so much the CFM as it is the restriction. You don't want your fucking carburetor to be a restriction. All them old carb charts and shit back in the day telling you 350 needs 600 CFM and shit. Well, maybe a stock one. But when you start modifying this shit, all that goes out the window. One basic formula I once heard that seems to be about right is whatever your cubic inches are of your engine, double it. And that'd be about what size carb you need if you're trying to hot rod it and round to the next number. So 350, you got 700. That would be 700 CFM, so you round it to a 750. And that's pretty much your universal size carburetor for all but your baddest of 350s. A 750 will work on about any of them, but an 850 will work on them. You build them rowdy enough, and even a fucking Dominator will work on one if you get real serious. The Dominators shouldn't be put on anything with less than 550, 600 horsepower. And they're really better on big engines. But hell, I've seen fucking Buick V6s with Dominators on them. Seen AMC engines with tunnel ram and 2 Dominators on it. Old pro stock engines back in the 70s. You have all your D-stroke Ford Clevelands and throw a couple of Dominators on them. They all ran fine. But you put a tunnel ram on your shit, and pretty well whatever size carburetor you would use in a single 4 application, just throw another one the same size. So if you got a 750 double pumper on your 350 and you put a tunnel ram on it, throw 2 750 double pumpers on there, and it'll work fine. But Dominators are good carburetors for big block applications that you want to run and make any fucking power with. They got this fancy fucking fuel line here. I like these. They're simple, relatively cheap A&N shit. Number 8. Put my fucking gauge in there. So good clean. You could run a return if desired. That's a good clean install. And then I'm using this dart intake. It's been ported pretty fucking nice. Real nice. It's been done a while, but, and then it's been tapped. Got the water fittings and shit to equalize the water flow to the heads. That help even out the temperature in the heads. It's been powder coated silver, so we pretty much just wipe it off, clean it. No carburetor, got 50cc pumps all the way around. I think those are 40 squirters. You got your water line snaking down through there. And I'm just running an old school Holley 4500 to 4150 adapter. But there's different trains of thought on that shit too. And I have a pile of fucking intakes that are Dominator flange that I could put on here. But then there's also run a 4150 intake with that adapter, and it gives you kind of like a fucking, it pulls on the carburetor, it gives you a better signal to your carburetor, like a Venturi effect, so it can actually help make them a little more drivable on the street and get a better signal to your carburetor. So I'm gonna, which I've run them like that before and they fucking work real good. But if I was just going strip only, I'd probably put the shit on this big motherfucker here. It's a 4500 flange. Bolt right on there. We got the Super Victor. It bolt right on there. Got that Merlin over there. Got a fucking Team G here. 4500. This is a 4150 intake here, so like I said, I'm just gonna run that fucking adapter and get that Venturi effect. Run this 1050 on here, plus those annular discharge boosters help run a Dominator on the street as well. I've drove these fuckers on the street and it ain't just driving down the road. If you got it tuned in right, you can't even tell. It run like a fucking Rochester 2-barrel driving it around normal. So it ain't what people, you could put a Dominator on a fucking 305 and it would run. It definitely wouldn't be optimum, but it's just a carburetor. It's not that difficult to set them up. So I'm going to drag race this fucker, but I'm also going to take it cruising around and might take it out in the country and give it hell. Play with the draggy and shit on some back roads. Anybody want to line them up on the street for a few bucks? Whatever the case may be, but it's gonna definitely see some street action. But there's the new carburetor, and there's the fucking intake going on it. 454.